Xbox Record This is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Hosted by three BFFs, Daddy Diwali, Chipotle Bear, and Bubble Boy and Seven. This is Cortana. And remember, don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it. As always, Spartans, see you online.
Oh, hello. Daddy Diwali here, and welcome to Xbox Record This, episode 81. And before we start, gentlemen, I just want to say our stream today, or our podcast, is sponsored by Mountain Dew.
Okay. He's doing it right now.
It's gamer time. Joining me, as always, is the assistant to the co-host, Chipotle Bear. How are you?
Good. Good to be back in spot number 2 after
All
my
right,
redemption last
demoted.
week.
Joining us, as always, the assistant, the real assistant, the co-host, Bubble Boy and Seven. How are you?
Dang. Well, that was short-lived. He's demoted already.
All right, complaining for him. Demoted Bubble Boy. Back to Chipotle Bear. Promoted. Back up. How are you, Chipotle Bear?
I'm doing great, man. It is, as we record, it's snowing here in Denver, Colorado, and it was not unexpected, but it was a little worse than I think we all anticipated it. So good news is I got one day till Thanksgiving break, and if there's a higher power up there, maybe a snow day tomorrow. I don't think that's going to happen, but I can wish as much as I want. I'm doing great, man.
You dog. You get a full week, you son of a gun. And joining us, as always, the assistant to the co-host. I don't remember why I demoted it. Oh, it was something. What was it, Bubble Boy? You was it a movie
it was
or
a
game
list from last week, wasn't it?
Wow. Regardless, Bubble Boy and Seven, how are you?
I'm good. Safely made it home. It's actually easier driving home than it was into school this morning. So
for sure.
it took me about an hour and a half this morning, and it was about an hour on the way home, which was a lot better than I expected. So, yeah, Jose, I know we don't have a full week next week, but we get an entire week for fall break that you guys don't get at all. And I don't know how many people I've talked to that are like, oh, I'd trade that Thanksgiving. I'm like, really? You'd trade 2 days for 5? That makes no sense. That's crazy pills. So I am a little bummed that I don't have the full week, but I'll take all of fall break over 2 any day.
Yeah. But didn't they get kind of fall break? Isn't it just swapped? Like, don't they get...
No, we got a day. Friday.
But then maybe
break.
a Monday, maybe a Monday too, 4-day weekend.
Just the Friday.
Dude,
Yeah,
the
no,
simple math is very easy.
See, I was under the impression theirs was just swapped. They just did their week at Thanksgiving and they did a few days for fall break. But yeah, so let's jump into Xbox Record This is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. We post every Saturday morning, 12 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Let's jump into some shout outs, Jose. We didn't have any shout outs, Jose.
Boom. Roasted.
We didn't have any shout outs, Jose. That's not the one I was. But I thought of this earlier, and I'm surprised none of you had this in the news. And I assume maybe, did we just miss it recently? I did want to talk about Kevin Conroy and the great voice actor who has impacted all of our lives. And for those of you who don't know, Kevin Conroy, he's a voice actor for many things, but the main reason he was so impactful to me in my life is he was and is the voice of Batman in the animated series, but also the Arkham Asylum games. And I specifically wanted to just kind of pay tribute to him because I was listening to a podcast Unlocked today, and their whole episode was kind of focused on this. And we don't have to take too much time to it, but I just liked what Ryan McCaffrey said. He said how important getting his voice for the games was to that series. Not only just Rocksteady making it an awesome game, but also getting him. And I couldn't agree more with that comment because I remember I was late to the party, and I have to give a shout out to Pac, who will never listen to this as always, but he recommended 2 games to me. and I was totally wrong, and I should have played them a lot sooner. The first was Mass Effect, and then the other one was Batman Arkham Asylum. And for some reason, I just didn't want to play Batman, and I was like, it can't be that good of a game. These licensed superhero games, they're never good. And then I remember being blown away by Batman, but also specifically as soon as I heard Kevin Conroy's voice, I was like, man, this is taking me back. And instantly I felt a connection to that game because of his voice. And I wasn't the biggest Batman animated series cartoon guy. I mean, I watched it, but I wasn't like a diehard. But as soon as I heard that voice, I was like, that's Batman. And it was such an important part of that game, that trilogy. And I just wanted to say thank you to Kevin for all of his great experiences. And then especially when he teamed up with, why am I forgetting the Joker's name? Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill. And that in the game as well, man, just such a great game, such an iconic voice. And he will be missed as Batman. He will always be my Batman. Whenever I think of Batman's voice, I think of him. I don't think of anybody else. I don't think of Christian Bale, or I don't even know who else has played Batman really. Or
George Clooney, Val Kilmer.
No,
Michael Keaton.
The most recent one was decent. What's his
Robert
name?
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. But anyway, rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. He is my Batman. Bubble Boy, any thoughts before I throw it over to Jose?
Yeah, I'd have to remember back, but I think we all had him, if not like the top of our list when we did best Batman performances, that he was on every one of those. So huge loss, for the entire industry. So
Jose?
I don't have a lot to add other than obviously very sad. There were a lot of people that were deeply affected by his death. I'm with you, Dan, where I didn't play Arkham right away. I don't know why. I love superhero stuff, and I don't know if it was just, I think so many licensed games were just not great. I just didn't want to see another one, but then nothing but amazing reviews from Arkham Asylum, and obviously that entire trilogy of games was absolutely astonishing. And even the animated series, I did watch quite a bit of it when I was younger, and I loved it. And I do, if we're going to talk about anything that's definitive, he is absolutely the definitive voice of Batman. So bummer for him and for everyone else, but hope he's doing well up there.
He's dead, Jose. That is a big bummer for him.
I'm just saying for all of us, and we're hope he's looking down with his cowl and
heck yeah,
watching over.
Rip Kevin Conroy. Like I said, my Batman. Did you guys know he was the voice of Batman in the game, or did you just kind of assume that, or was that a surprise for you? Because it was a surprise for me. I was like, "Whoa, they got!"
No, I knew who was the voice in the game.
Okay. No, but I mean, like before you went into it, did you know he was voicing it?
No, not until like the credits rolled.
Okay. And Bubble Boy, did you know that he was going to be the voice, or did you?
I can't. God, it was so long ago. I can't remember.
I don't know.
I feel like there was a couple of things, because Mark Hamill did the Joker in that one too, didn't he?
Yeah,
and I can remember being like, kind of like Jose said, like a little like, I'm probably gonna skip this one, but hold on, they do have some heavy hitter names here on here, so I can't remember.
All right. Well, rip Kevin Conroy, Bubble Boy, take us in to a more
this was Chapeau's.
Oh, Jose, your warm up, and we are recording. That was the other thing I wanted to say at the beginning. Dang it, we're recording on November 17th, 2022. I guess we should start saying that, even though it says that on the podcast.
It does help, but yeah, it helps.
If you look at the podcast, it does have a date on there, but we're recording right before the only Thanksgiving that matters, and as far as I'm concerned.
There are lots of Thanksgivings.
Yeah, Canadian Thanksgiving. I think there's a few others out there. So Jose, take it away for the warm up for the week.
Yeah, so I was talking to my parents. We were getting ready to go visit my grandmother for Halloween. God, are we tired? We're tired, ready for break for Thanksgiving. Good Lord, talking about things, and my mom was like, "You guys should do top 5 pies," and I was like, "That's a great idea." So I sent it out to the fellas. So we decided to talk about top 5 pies. Now, to be fair, the way it's listed in our show notes is Thanksgiving pies, which I'm not necessarily married to. I meant just pies in general. I mean, all of mine, with the exception of maybe one, fall into that category. But I will go ahead and start us off. My 2 honorable mentions.
Wait, Jose, let me go first, because mine. I don't. This might be one that disappoints Bubble Boy, even though I've been on a
shocked.
little lately.
Color me shocked. Go ahead.
So let's be real. Okay, this is the definitive XRT best pies list before I even go, because there aren't many great pies. I'm just going to put this out there. Literally, when I think of a good pie, there's one flavor that matters, and we'll get to number one, obviously. But here's my list. I put number 5. Is there such a thing as chocolate pie? I don't know. I just put it
Yes.
on there because
Absolutely,
I
there's
couldn't.
We're
chocolate
back
pie.
to the old
I
classic
couldn't-
Diwali list
I
here.
could not, for the life of me, think of good pie flavors. Okay, because again, there's only one that matters. Number 4, peach. Okay, number 3, ice cream pie. Again, is this a thing? I assume so. Kind of like it's in the shape of a.
Annette, I apologize. I took this one serious. I'm
number
excited
2,
for it.
is
Thought it was a
cheesecake a
great
pie?
topic.
Is cheesecake pie?
Cheesecake is not a
Good Lord, bud.
Number 2, and then number 1. Again, the only pie that matters. Warm apple pie. That's it. I don't care about any. I don't care about any other pies.
I'm glad you had that
all
one.
I want is apple pie. That's all that matters. When I think of a pie, I think of apple, and I think, my gosh, I'll eat that whole thing and nothing else. And as far as I'm concerned, pumpkin pie is disgusting. So Jose, go ahead. You can take over now. That's the definitive XRT list.
Okay, so I did take this very seriously, but I did it pretty quickly, honestly. Like it didn't take me that long to think about. A lot of times our lists, I have to really think and calculate. My honorable mentions, I have 2 things on there. One is a hand pie. Now, technically, hand pies can be any flavor, but they're very.
Caca is a hand pie.
I was about to explain it, but be patient. Patience. So my wife has an aunt that's in Georgia, and
wait. This is a family made up thing.
No, dude. Can I talk here? You're like that kid in class right now. So we went there, and they were like, "We got to get hand pies," and I did the same thing. I was like, "What the hell is a hand pie?" Basically, it's a portable all-in-one pie, but they come from this farm out in Georgia it's called Mercier's Farms, and they are phenomenal. They are some of the best tasting pies I've ever had in my life. So now whenever anybody goes out or we go out, we always bring them back for each other because they're so good. So I got to give a shout out to hand pies just because it's one of those like regional things. And then the other one, honorable mention, you're not going to believe this, a grape pie. And Chance's face right now is exactly how I felt. So when I was a little bit younger and Victoria and I were first like dating, I was trying to think of like something creative to make. And I was like, I love grapes. Why is there not a grape pie? And so like we looked and we actually found a recipe for one by Alton Brown. He's like the famous Food Network guy. He had a recipe for a grape pie and we made it one time. Terrible. I did not like it at all. However, I did have to give credit because I thought it was, we talk about all the fruits. You never hear about a grape pie. So I had to give it a shout. It was just too sweet for me. Official number 5, blueberry pie. I do love a good blueberry pie. I think that it's a really good flavor. I like the blueberry filling that you get. It's like real cheap at the store. Love a good blueberry pie. Number 4, I agree with Dan. I do love apple pie. There's just something about it, especially if you get that nice crispy crust. You get a little cinnamon sugar. You had your chance.
4?
Number 3, I actually prefer a cherry pie. I think cherry pie is a delicious pie. Again, I love that cherry filling. I love the gelatinousness of it. I love it with a little ice cream on the side. My number 2, banana cream pie. I love banana cream pie. Now, granted, it's honestly a toss-up between that and my number 1. I would take either of them any day of the week. It's just kind of a mood thing, but I especially like where it's almost frozen. It's got like little ice crystals in it. Delightful. My number 1, Dan's going to hate me, pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin pie. I think it's delicious. I like it with a little whipped cream on top. I'm all about that pumpkin pie life. I just think it's a good pie. You could come at me, bro, if you don't like it. Right. I understand if you don't. I got demoted again. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Exactly. I mean, Chance and I both looking in disgust. So clearly demoted. Bubble Boy for the time being promoted. But I will have to say, I almost didn't want to demote you, Jose, because I forgot about the banana one, and specifically the one at Moe's. But the only time I have the banana thingamajig, what kind of pie did you say it was? Banana cream pie? I don't think I've ever had a real one. I've just had that knockoff thing at Moe's.
Actually, that's with vanilla wafers. Yeah, it's pudding, but it's not the same thing.
Go ahead, Bubble Boy.
Yeah. So I thank you, Annette. This was a great one. When Jose texted it the other day, I was like, "Oh, it's brilliant. It's genius." I did have to stretch it a little bit though, in terms of it's not just Thanksgiving pies, but coming in for my honorable mention are all the cream pies that I could think of. So Boston cream, banana cream, coconut cream. Not the Popeyes banana cream pie though. That was not my favorite at all. And then
did you say oatmeal cream pie? Does that count?
Boston coconut.
Ooh, that should have been honorable mention. That's a good one.
No,
That's a good that honorable mention. Technically not a pie, but
yeah, no,
has the
but
word
it's got
pie in it.
It's a lot more of a pie than half of the you came up with. So
Ice cream pie.
yeah, I don't know. I had a fudgesicle the other day. Is that like a pie? Number 5, and I could eat this right out of the can. You don't even need the pie, but the cherry pie. I like cherry pie filling on anything really. We had
He's absolutely right.
Yeah, exactly. One of the cool things our new principal, Scott, does is the first Friday of every month, him and his wife bake some sort of treat for the entire school, which is impressive. I know. We've had churros. We've had, oh gosh, I can't remember all things so far. But last week it was, or this in November.
Or churros pie, Jose? Is that what you're thinking too?
It's
Because
not a
otherwise, I need to put
pie.
that on there.
What, Jose? What?
I don't mean to interrupt. I apologize, but I crucial moment at Sam's Club right now. They have the Taco Bell cinnamon twists in a bag, literally like in a giant like chip sized bag.
I've always thought those are overrated, right?
I think they're delicious
compared to a real churro. Like,
I can't.
Yep,
They're
I agree.
dry.
They're too dry. Yeah,
Oh my
I
God.
agree. You
Amateurs.
give me a real churro.
All right,
No,
back to you,
amateur
Chance.
hour, because you could get the caramel apple empanada.
Yeah, you can just get the churros there. I just buy like 10 of those at the store.
Or-
Screw these. No,
Yeah.
get out of here. Demoted again. Go ahead.
And
Bubble
at
boy.
Taco Bell, you can't waste that valuable dollar that needs to go somewhere else. Anyway, where was I? Key lime, I think, for honorable mention after all the creams. Cherry. Oh, did cherry. Blueberry, classic blueberry. Is just a good, easy, like you gotta have it on there. Number 3 is where my caramel apple pie came in. It is hard to beat a good apple pie, but there are 2 that I was specifically thinking, one of these for Thanksgiving and the other just because it's just a heavy hitter. Number 2, and this is going to be confusing to some people, gooey butter cake, which is a pie because they sell it in those individual tins. And it's like a St. Louis thing. We had this bakery by our house when Ashley and I had that condo in Aurora. And some places call them butter pies, some gooey butter cake, but it's essentially just, and again, they're typically like in a little individual thing. But what they sound like just this buttery, gooey, chewy deliciousness. That's usually like kind of a vanilla flavor. And then number 1, and I did not like this growing up, and I don't know what it's made out of, or what is put in the middle of it, but a good pecan pie is really hard to beat. I was surprised that none of you had pecan pie on there.
Too sweet for me, but I like it, but it's too sweet.
It can be very sweet.
I think Grayson's allergic to those now. So
that's sad. But all I'll say is it's nowhere near. Pumpkin pie is disgusting. It shouldn't be a thing. And I get excited every time.
How dare you?
It's every time it's PSL season, and I always want to try something like pumpkin pie flavored, and then I have to remind myself like this is disgusting.
It's always bad.
Purely
just
disgusting.
always just disgusting. So all of you out there on XRT Nation, please write in, send us your favorite pies. And I think, Bubble Boy, I have to say, pecan pie, I think maybe I forgot about them. Maybe you've had that once or twice. Also delicious.
Yeah.
But again, Grayson, we're thinking walnuts and pecans might be his allergies, but all the rest are good. So he's not missing out on much. Let's be real. Those are not that great of nuts as it is. Go ahead, Jose.
I was just gonna say, out there, people, all our fans out there, vindicate me. Please tell me I'm not the only one that loves pumpkin pie. There's no way that it's me. It's at every store.
People like
it's like a staple for
flavored things. They don't like actual
sentiment.
pumpkin
pie. And that's a sentimental thing.
Well, then great. Then I can finish the rest of it.
Here's the thing: when else do you eat pumpkin pie?
No, none. I didn't say you had to eat it other times.
All these others, you're gonna want some.
You see a lot of apple pie
all around
because it's not a thing.
Well, again,
he's got you there. At least pumpkin pie is trash, but it's
apple
still
pie is the only pie that matters. Let's jump into some Xbox /gaming news for the week, Jose.
News team, assemble!
It's Bubble Boy, by the way, not Chappelle.
Oh, is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was Jose. I have
good drops.
So this is why, I just can't stand that both of you have these dang soundboards. I don't know where it's coming from, and I should mute both of you. Let's go to the first story. I kind of mixed them up the way I wanted to. The Splinter Cell remake. Who wants to talk about that? The
I'll take that
first
one.
look at the Splinter Cell remake.
I literally like 30 minutes before we started recording, saw that came through, and I was like, I have to watch this video. Apparently, Ubisoft put out this like 20-minute kind of like history of Splinter Cell, and it was the developers talking about how much they love it, and Sam Fisher and all this other stuff, and it was pretty cool, man. And at the very end, they kind of show one little teaser image of the new one, and then of course they talk really that they are excited for a remake. They did officially announce the remake, but they want to make it an incredibly well done remake. So it kind of makes me think that they're trying to go the way of like a Resident Evil 4, where they like really are putting a lot of time into it, not just a pure like HD upgrade or anything like that. So just made me happy, man. I mean, how many times have we asked for that in the last couple of years? And to hear that they're finally like, yep, it's time. I thought that was just newsworthy to bring that out. I know that it would make you guys happy for sure. So you guys, your thoughts?
I was impressed that they announced it on the 20-year anniversary of when Splinter Cell was released, which is cool, considering what some of the trends are turning to of only waiting 5 years to do a remake. So I'm really excited.
I'm excited too, Jose, but until we see something concrete, I can't get too excited because I love Splinter Cell and I think it's one of the best Tom Clancy genre of games there is. But until we see something solid, I'm not going to get too excited because this game is we know how long games take to make these days. So it's years out. But like Bubble Boy said, that is cool that they did. I didn't even know this until you brought it up, Jose. So thank you for sharing. And I didn't know it was the 20-year anniversary. So that makes me feel old. So let's move on to the next story. Warzone 2's proximity chat is already causing chaos and peace deals. Players call the new feature the best thing ever, and trash talk and collaboration ensues. So who brought this? Was this Jose too, or was this Bubble Boy?
It was me. And so here's where this came from. So today at my school, I had to cover a class, which I haven't had to do recently, which has been honestly nice. Good to hang out with kids and just kind of be in the thick of it again. But I was in this class today and these kids were working on an essay. And so like they're working and we're talking and stuff. And this one kid said, hey, the new Warzone came out today. And I was like, oh, I didn't know Warzone dropped today. That's really cool. And so we started talking about it. And this other kid who had access to it was like, he goes, it's crazy, man. The proximity chat is like kind of scary because like you're like against a wall and you can hear a dude on the other side. And so like it adds a whole different element. He goes, but honestly, it's pretty toxic. And I was like, totally understand that. Like that's the first thing I would worry about is just people just doing. I don't even mind trash talking. Like I know that I'm not a great FPS person and I still have a lot of fun with that. I don't mind when people are like, the teabagging. I think that's dumb, but I don't like get up I don't break my controllers over it.
I do that a few times. When it's deserved, when somebody does it to me first for no reason, especially when I get like a triple kill and then they come and finish me off, I'm coming and hunting you and teabagging the cock out of you. Sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead.
He does do that. So anyway, we were talking about it and I was just kind of like, man, I'm kind of glad that I don't have the proximity chat because if you don't know this, if you're not a gamer or if you don't do this often, when you're in a party with your friends, that always takes priority over whatever the settings for the game are. So like if I'm in a game playing with Chance and Dan and we're in our own chat, it doesn't matter what the other game settings are. We're only going to hear each other talking, right? And that historically has been always the benefit of why you play games like that because like I can be up on a mountain and telling Dan, oh, there's a guy on the left side, Chance, there's a dude coming in top. And like that's the whole purpose of kind of those team tactical games. But this added, I wouldn't have experienced this anyway because we do this a lot, but I genuinely was worried because like I think unfortunately there's a lot of gaming that's still very toxic and there's so much that people will do behind the privacy of like a screen or a keyboard that I just think is unwarranted. That doesn't make the world a better place. But the reason why I put this article in here was because there was whole other light of hope thing that I thought was very interesting. So basically, and this is from Andy Robinson over at VGC, there has been this new trend with this proximity chat where people are actually being nice to each other. And I was trying to get like, how does that work? How is that possible? The example they gave was like, imagine if you drop into a game and you're going around a corner and there's a dude who is clearly overpowered. Like you don't stand a chance against him because you have like a pistol or just a melee weapon and they have like a full automatic and people being like, I just landed, I don't have anything. And people literally just being like, okay, and leaving them alone, like not going after them, which I think is kind of cool. I don't know if it will last, I'll be honest with you, because the truth is like, even when that's happened to me in games, I just treat that as a symptom of like, okay, well, that was bad luck, whatever, I'm going to drop again. Or I need to get better, because that's the other piece of this is like it does kick up that learning curve. But I did think that was kind of a cool, right? That humanity is still alive in some people. And for people that just want to play the game well and not cheat, they'll do that. You know what I'm saying? They also have said it happens sometimes with people like when they're downed, like in it. So if you don't know, in these games, like when you get out of life, you don't just actually die right away. You actually are like on the ground for a little bit, and there's kind of like a timer. And if your teammates can get to you, they revive you. And if not, then they can kill you right away. It's like a whole thing. But that's been a whole interesting thing with the game chat too, with people kind of talking trash as they're like going down with the ship and stuff. So I just thought it was interesting, man. I commend Modern Warfare for innovating in this sense. We'll see if it sticks or not. But I was curious if you guys had any thoughts about this. I know none of us have had a chance to try this yet, but just curious.
Oh boy, any thoughts? I have something to say if you want. Okay, go ahead. Are you good? Okay, so I was just gonna say I did see one thing I'd be concerned about, Jose, is I saw a clip from Modern Warzone. I don't know if you guys follow him. He kind of had blew up a big following because Modern Warzone. A lot of people thought he was Modern Warfare, and so a lot of people send him DMs being like, "Fix your game."
People are illiterate,
stuff like that. But he did provide some good updates on the game and stuff like that. That's why I followed him. But he posted a clip of how they basically ran into two guys on another team, and they're like, "Hey, you guys want to team up?" And so there's one potential other bad thing is if you've got teams teaming up together, that could be like if you're in a 2v2 or a quad game and you've got 8 people versus your 4 basically taking you out because they're all working together, that would suck. And then it was funny because he was being all nice to him, and then he's like, he pressed the button. He's like, "Hey, let's take these guys out." But he pressed the wrong one. He meant to mute his Discord channel and not the game channel. And the guy's standing there. He's like, "Dude, we can hear you." And then they start to shoot each other. And then they all died because they could tell he was turning on each other. So I can see pros and cons. I think it's cool, but it was interesting, Jose, because I've watched Doc play a little bit and how all of a sudden you'll be running and then you can just start to hear somebody by you. And it does change the game type where you're like, where is this guy? Where is it coming from? And I almost think that it's going to be more of a distraction than it is something that's actually going to help you while you're playing. Because you're going to hear stuff and be like, instead of doing what you had planned, you're going to kind of react to the voice instead of keeping your original plan. Like I said, go ahead, Jose.
But here's the thing. Do you think you would trust that for a rando, a total rando who's like, "Hey, let's go sneak around this corner. You go first." Would you trust that guy? I don't know if I would, man. I feel
think
like
some people will take advantage of it, but some I guarantee will play until then. Like that's how me and Matthew met Prosby. Like we just started to team up with him.
Yeah,
But
I guess that's true. That's a good point.
I think the thing is I don't think it's going to affect us as much because we tend to be in parties. That's what I'm wondering. Like even if we're in a party chat, will we still be able to hear the game audio, but will they not be able to hear us? I'm guessing no. I'm guessing if you're in a party, you won't hear them by you, and just like they would be able to hear you, because that would be a huge advantage if we could just talk to each other in a party and hear them, but them not hear us. And then the other part is I think it's a bigger deal for people who are on PC because then, like I said, they could just be in Discord and have the game chat on to where they can hear each other, but they can mute their like game chat and talk. But we also have Discord integration. We can talk about that later. I'm excited for this, but again, I haven't jumped in, and I'm not gonna lie, you guys. Usually I would think I want to just hop into Warzone right away, and I really haven't had that desire to jump into it. So we'll talk more about Warzone maybe later and what we've been playing. Let's move on to the next story. This is coming from Ryan Leston over at IGN. By the way, guys, I don't know if we can accept articles from IGN anymore. I can't stand the bombardment of these ads. Like it's getting out of control. Or do you want to join IGN Prime? I get it. You got to pay the bills, but IGN, I don't know anymore. It says Grammy Awards nominate Aliens, Fireteam Elite, and Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy for Best Soundtrack. The first ever video game Grammy is a weird one. So, Bubble Boy, was this you, I believe?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. This is obviously a first time thing. This has never been done before, where the Grammys specifically have a video game category in the soundtrack for the video game. So I thought it was worth noting. I also, Jose, because you tried a little bit of Fireteam, didn't you?
Yeah, I finished basically the base game. I haven't done any of the DLC, and it's designed for you to kind of redo it again and again as you like level stuff up. I didn't do that. I just kind of played through the main missions, but I had a great time with it. I loved it.
Oh, okay. Do you because I don't remember you saying anything about whether or not the soundtrack was good or not good or
Yeah. So here's what's interesting about that. I would not, if we're talking about sound design, I would absolutely say yes. It had an incredible sound design that really followed the original Alien and Aliens games in terms of just like the sound that the like proximity thing makes. I don't want to try to do it with my mouth, but it's a very distinct sound that you know from the movies. They did a great job with that. The sound of like the aliens crawling through the walls and like the ship creaking and stuff. It was really, really, really well done. I loved that aspect of it, but I don't remember a lot of music. And so that's kind of where I have a question mark on this, because like Guardians of the Galaxy, I guarantee, and to be fair, I still haven't played the game. I'm sure it had actually a banging soundtrack of like actual pop music from that era when Peter Quill would have been young, just like the movies did. The movie had an awesome soundtrack, right? So I think that's kind of a weird thing, because the other part is you look at like the other nominations were Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Call of Duty Vanguard, and Old World. I can't imagine any of those, maybe Call of Duty, had any kind of true quote unquote music, or if we're talking about like the score or the sound design.
Say the score. No, it's the category is best score soundtrack for video games and other interactive media.
If that's the case, then why isn't Elden Ring in there?
Yeah, I know. That's
Elden
what I'm
Ring
saying.
has some freaking incredible orchestral. Is that the right word?
Orchestral
music. Orchestral music. My gosh, like incredible.
Yeah, that's the other reason I put it on here. One, it's kind of revolutionary and kind of cool, but two, like, who came up with this list? And man, they were missing some really, really.
I guarantee you they just went to Google and they typed in video games and they're like, all right, A's, aliens, put it on there. Assassins, put it on there. And then some kid was like, don't forget Call of Duty. Like, it is a very bizarre list. Not bad games, and they probably did have good sound design, but here's my quick thoughts and I'll pass it. I don't mean to complain. I don't watch the Grammys anymore. I don't watch the Golden Globes. I don't watch the Oscars. I just think those are weird. Who gets to choose that? I get it's like the Academy. I understand how that actually works, but like to me, I think there are movies that always get left off. I can't get behind something that doesn't have a comedy category. I think comedy is an incredible part of our pop culture.
Agreed.
And for them not to have an award in that, I think is a slap in the face. I think it's cool that they're adding this to the Grammys, but I also am like, this is weird though. Cause like, what are you going to get, like Nintendo games on there? And like if we had Game Boy games, like that's not a level playing field. You know what I mean? I don't know. It seems a little weird to me. I guess I'm glad to have it. I guess it doesn't hurt me. I guess I don't know why I'm complaining, but I just think that's a weird addition. You guys?
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I why is it taking this long? But also, I think there are much better soundtracks. I could see Guardians maybe because those are real artists, right? And right, all those songs are
true pop culture songs from like the era.
But I don't know. Go ahead, Bubble Boy.
It made me think of right, like I was like all excited, and then just oh no, I pooped my pants. Like I don't know, it just was so weird, and it's weird. And I don't follow. I've never followed the Grammys, but I definitely don't
neither have I.
Follow like the Oscars and stuff like I maybe used to
a little bit more.
Or even the Video Game Awards that we'll talk about here in a minute. But I was like, it is just from a timing standpoint, like they could have leaned on these Video Game Awards a little bit to come up with their nominations. And like, I can't remember if one of you said it, like, did one of their like middle school kids just come up with this list? Like they're, oh gosh, guys, we put it on there. You know, Tina put it out there, but we didn't do anything with this. So I heard her kid's really into video games. Hey, Johnny, do you like,
yeah, it's weird. Like
good music.
Marvel's a big, name. And I don't know. I mean, Marvel, I see those are real songs, but then the aliens, like, is that I know.
And I like the game. I'm not hating on the game. I love the game, but just like if I was like, someone asked me on the street, what game has a great soundtrack? I'm not like
Aliens Fire Team Elite. I don't think so. Very weird, but
I mean, at least Call of Duty Vanguard's over a year old. Like, how did that one even make the list? Right?
We're going to talk more about like nomination and time periods and stuff like that when we get to the Game Awards. Let's move on. But before we do, I have to say, Academy Awards. Guys, if Top Gun Maverick doesn't clean house, what was a better movie this year in every single aspect?
Well, they just need to cancel it and say, look, guys, it's the first time it's ever going to happen. All of them
exactly
go to Top Gun Maverick.
I'm not even kidding, though.
We have Top Gun Maverick.
Can you tell me another like?
Is it
great
nominated though?
movie?
I'm curious. I don't know.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. If it wasn't, it was because they were like, "This is it's
Erroneous.
unfair." Yeah, they were like, you know what, guys? It's like having back when Michael Jordan stopped doing the slam dunk contest. They're like, it's just not even worth it. He's gonna win.
That
every
one year
time.
with Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine, though, that was a pretty good one. Do you remember that one? Chance, look it up. If you don't, guys, look it up. Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine. Let's move on to the next story. Jose, talk to us about Pokemon Scarlet for some reason and Violet. Why?
I know.
Rebecca Valentine
we
on
almost
IGN.
We almost never talk about this, and I'm going to be very short on this. There's a lot of news coming on around now. If you follow video games, like in all subjects, which I do, I know that these two are mostly Xbox. Chances playing God of War right now, but like I follow Nintendo stuff because I've always loved Nintendo. Right now, they're having a ton of problems with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And the reason it's notable is because everybody loves what they tried to do. The issue is that it can't run on the Switch. Like the hardware is not strong enough to run what they're trying to do. And so I think it's interesting.
I got to interrupt. Is it really that demanding of a game that the Switch can't run? Or maybe these developers didn't do a good job? Because I agree, for the most part, Nintendo IPs are always well-polished, well-made games that run well.
So here's what I mean. And again, I don't have a Switch anymore, but I was watching a video on this earlier. And I feel like whenever we have new games and they're doing reviews and they talk about technical issues, very rarely do we get to see that in the review because they can like report on it. They can tell you what happened, but they don't have like the screen grabs of it. You know what I'm saying? To like show you what happened. They had a ton of them from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet where you can see glitching and twitching or like they're running over items and it's not picking up and stuff like that. And the reason I bring it up is just I wonder what this means in terms of hardware, because the truth is like for Xbox and PlayStation, even though we're now a couple of years into this generation, we know that we're keeping a Series X, S, and PS5 for a long time. Like it's going to be years and years and years before we see even a refresh, I think, let alone a complete new update. And so Nintendo is not in that same boat because if they're going to be pushing out these harder games and if they're going to try to port things like Call of Duty and stuff, that means there's going to be a hardware change. So I'm just curious what that's going to look like. If there's been a lot of speculation of whether they're going to really try to create something that's quite a bit more beefy because they've not done that in a while or not. I just thought it was interesting, man. Again, we don't have to talk a lot about it. I know you don't really care, but just keeping everybody on their toes that Nintendo's, in addition to just not being at that same level of PlayStation and Xbox, like graphically and hardware wise, they're kind of up against a wall right now. We'll see what happens.
Bubble Boy, any thoughts? Or that's the fart noise, Bubble Boy. I was setting you up. Any thoughts, Bubble Boy?
Hold on. I think the only fart.
Okay, moving. That's what I was waiting for. Jose, I will say this. Hardware-wise, why would the Switch need to do a hardware revision if it's still like the number one selling or number two selling, as much as I disagree with it.
Well, I'm just saying if their flagship games can't run on it, mom or dad's going to buy a Switch for Jimmy. Jimmy's going to get home and look, it doesn't work. That's not going to end well. I'm just saying.
I think Nintendo is just in a position where they're like, eat my caca, and they don't care because they're selling like crazy and most of the games do run well. They'll figure out this Pokemon. We can patch games. I would love, Jose, to see a huge hardware upgrade, and then I could buy a Switch. I just don't think that's ever going to happen. Go ahead, Bubble Boy.
APS 1 hour delay.
Yeah, I'm getting the phone call right now.
Gosh darn it. I really have my hopes up. I know delays can turn into snow days, but those delays, and I don't know, I have to interrupt. Jose, do you get the phone calls we get when it's delay, but if we're paying you money, you need to be there on time? Does that happen in Jeffco?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but basically the expectation is in Jeffco the same. They're like, even though it's a 2 hour delay for the start of school, employees are still expected to be there at a reasonable time. I mean, that is not a practice in our school. Like I'm not standing at the door being like, oh, looks like someone was 8 minutes late. That's ridiculous. I would never do that.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Moving on back to video games here. We're going into some quick stories now before the main topic, which we're going to save until the end. Xbox, I just wanted to say this, everybody out there, Xbox is having a huge digital video game sale. It's called the Xbox Digital Video Game Black Friday Sale 2022. And basically the only game you really need to go buy right away is Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition. It's on sale for $20. Go buy it. But there's a bunch of games on sale. I saw
Gotham Knights, $42, bud.
I
Worth it.
know. I was
That's a good
tempted.
price.
I saw that.
I saw that. If I hadn't just
Sekiro.
got the PlayStation, I would have.
Sekiro is $30. That's as low as it ever goes.
Oh my god,
when it's
RE2
on
and 3 are
sale.
only $10 a piece. That's a
Yeah.
great price,
There's some
bud.
steals on there.
I got those for like $7.99, so they have been lower, but great deals to be had. So I just wanted to put that out there. Next quick story: the Xbox November update rolls out, and like I mentioned earlier, you can connect your Discord voice channels from your Xbox console. So more Discord integration. We still haven't experimented with that yet. We're still old man gaming with our old school
Bunch of noobs
Xbox
over
party
here.
chat. Yeah, so we haven't dive too deep into that, but I did want to say the one thing that I wanted to mention and what I am going to start using is wish list gifting. So you can have a wish list, and you can share it with people. But the other thing I wanted to say is that you'll also get notifications when items on your wish list go on sale.
That's huge.
Exactly. So I want to start saving games that I want to buy down the road. Like for example, I've been wanting to play Shovel Knight forever. I've never played Shovel Knight. I've heard only great things. $40. I'm sorry. At this point, I am not going to pay $40 for that game. I've never seen it go on sale. I don't know what's going on with that game. I'm going to try to wait for it, but I will be putting that on my list. Also, I wanted to pay that Terminator. I think it's Terminator Resistance or something, the one that came out kind of recently. I saw Shinobi tweeting about it. He says it's a little janky, but it's definitely fun and gets the Terminator atmosphere. So I want to put that one on there. So shout out to this new update. And also there's apparently capture capture and share editions. I'm not sold on that yet. I still think, my God, the capture and DVR on Xbox is caca. They still need to fix that and improve it. I was just playing PS5 the other day, and I'll tell you more about that later. And my gosh, their capture setting is or capture app is just so much better. Right away, when you say select capture on Xbox, you can do like 15, 30, 45-minute. On PS5, it's like those same ones and then like 5 minutes and 15, your last 15 minutes of gameplay. And I just think that's impressive. So I still think Xbox needs to work on that. Gentlemen, any reaction to the update, or should I move on to games coming to Game Pass?
I was really excited about the idea of the wish list thing because I like putzing through the sales, even if I know I'm not going to buy anything or there isn't necessarily something there. So I don't think it's going to keep me from doing that, but it is just a neat feature that I have to imagine benefits them tremendously, right? The whole idea is that the sales are going to go up from that, and I have to imagine they will. So it's cool. It's great. It's good for us, and it's obviously going to be good for them.
Yeah, and I also want to point out and give a shout out to Xbox as well. Like, I'm pretty sure Xbox is still the only console where in the store you can gift games. I know you can on Steam, I'm pretty sure, but like I don't think you can do that on PlayStation yet. And that's a big deal. Like I gifted Jose South Park. I gift games all the time. I gifted Bacon Friday the 13th. And so it is an awesome feature. And I, like Bubble Boy just said, I'm looking forward to being notified when games I want go on sale, because it's right. As soon as I see it's on sale for a good price, I'm probably going to buy it. So last quick story for the week. Coming soon to Xbox Game Pass for mid-November 2022. This is Megan Spur, community lead. Big ones available today. Pentiment, Cloud Console PC. Somerville, Cloud Console PC. Talking about that in a second. Coming soon, Dune Spice Wars game preview PC, November 17th. Ghost Lore game preview PC the 17th, Lapin Cloud Console PC the 17th, Norco Cloud and Console November 17th, Gungrave Gore Gore Cloud Console and PC the 22nd, and Insurgency Sandstorm Cloud and Console November 29th. Soccer Story Cloud Console PC November 29th, and Warhammer 40,000 Darktide PC November 30th. In case you missed it, Vampire Survivors, apparently a game I also need to check out. And is there anything leaving? Oh, there's another I wanted to mention. I think there's going to be another Halo DLC skin as well, and leaving November 30th. Here we go. Archvale, Deer Simulator, Final Fantasy 13-2, Mind Scanners. Ooh, Mortal Shell. Dang it, JBiz. I'm not going to be able to get to it. Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator, Undungeon, and Warhammer 40,000 Battle Sector Cloud Console and PC. Guys, I'm going to tell you right away, I am already playing Somerville, and of course, I'm going to be checking out Pentiment. I also kind of want to check out Insurgency Sandstorm. I always kind of like those janky first-person shooters, especially because it's co-op. I know I could be playing Call of Duty, but I got a special heart for those. So, Jose, you gonna check out any games on this list?
Probably not. If anything, maybe Amnesia is at the bottom for like the touch control thing. I still want to play that because of the horror element. I'll play Somerville. Like that's probably my next big play ahead of December 2nd. Pentiment, I'm tempted to play it, but I almost want to boycott it because they gave it a 10, and I'm still pissed that they gave Gotham Knight a 5.
Pentiment got a 10?
A 10. They
Yeah,
gave
From
it a
IGN
10.
gave it a 10. IGN.
That's
Dude,
why
it's been
I'm
getting
like
10s and 9s, man.
I
joke.
I feel like I owe it to play it, but like that just it makes me upset. Here's why. Sorry, and I know a little soapbox. I'll be quick.
It's very niche.
I think yeah, that's exactly right. They're giving it a 10 because it's different, and I'm not opposed to different. I love
No,
different.
not just because it's different, because they say it's really well written and the story is awesome.
So was
give
Gotham
it a little
Knights.
credit. Jose's just really butthurt about Gotham Knights.
I am.
Guys. Let's
I'm
be
sore.
real. I don't think it deserved a 6, maybe a 7 at the lowest. I agree, Jose, but performance matters. Bubble Boy, are you gonna play any of these? I'm assuming yes.
I mean, yeah, I just have the handful of PlayStation console exclusives that I'm probably gonna get to first. I haven't, and I'm interested to see what you think of Somerville, and both of you have
Oh,
Pentiment.
I'll talk about that.
Because I didn't see great things about Somerville. So we'll see.
Okay, I'll have more to talk about that later. Okay, that has been the news for the week. And let's jump into, I wanted to say the last one for us because we're going to talk about the XRT Awards. But Bubble Boy, tell us why you wanted to talk about the Game Awards
What?
nominees. Because I think
on.
they're straight caca. I don't like it. I don't like
Well, that's worth talking about, is it not?
Speaking of, I was watching Ainsley Bowden and Joseph, and I think it was Luke. They were talking about the Game Awards, and I just go ahead before I start. Go ahead.
I was saying balloons.
Come on,
exactly.
it's news, and we're talking about the news. Like, I'm not gonna go through everyone and say, what do you think should have been there? But like, there's some very glaring, obvious misses, that games missing from categories, and then there's some that, there's one just jumping off the
Tell me.
page to me that I'm like, oh, excuse me, what happened here?
Tell me which one.
Okay, so obviously Elden Ring deserves all the praise in the world. It's the front runner for Game of the Year. How in God's name it made it on the best narrative list is beyond me. I cannot understand that one. I think that was it just like they're like, well, it did everything great, so we're just going to put it on there for it. Got the Top Gun Maverick.
I think they didn't know the story either, but they felt dumb like we did, and they're like, we better put it on there just to be safe.
I think how people would defend it is that when you dive deep into it, it's not spoon fed to you. That there is. I agree. You're right. I have no idea what the story is, and I don't know what Dark Souls is. But the reason why I love those games is because it lets me play the game. Yeah. Unlike another game I'll be talking about, which just doesn't let me play the game to have fun. So, any other snubs you feel like? Let's just break it down the first few because it is interesting. Best game of the year. Let's just start with there. I do not think for Horizon Forbidden West should be on there. I don't think Stray should be on there. I think those two, take them out. Horizon to me is just a bloated open world game, and it came and went. and nobody talks about it.
Well, and I
Even
don't even
diehard
think
PlayStation fans didn't even finish it.
that's what I was going to say exactly. And PlayStation themselves sent that game out to die. They knew what they were getting into when they put it at the same. Or
I don't think
week
they did.
after
I don't think
before.
people knew about Elden Ring. I don't
The people
think.
that knew.
Dude, did you know Elden
Either
Ring
way.
was going to be as massive as it was? Either way,
I
I
was
don't
the
think it should be
most
there.
excited out of all of us, maybe besides J-Biz for it.
Mm.
What was that look for?
Yeah, I guess
I
you're
had
right.
played those.
Okay, Jose, any reactions to the game of the year? I think the rest are fine. I don't know. Stray, I hear a lot of people saying Cult of the Lamb should be on there, or even like Vampire Survivors. Like there should be more indie games in those spots. Take off Horizon, put another indie game on there. And
I mean,
not even Stray. Stray
love
even that
that-
good of a game? Like you just walk around as a cat. Like how?
No,
what?
there's like
We're gonna
I've
find out.
I've
I'll
heard
be
Stray's
playing it.
really good. I want to play Stray. I think it looks rad.
I mean,
I think
I
it's
feel like it's going to come to Xbox eventually. That's not a PS exclusive.
I would
It's a
love
timed
to
one.
say that indie should be on the list, but the truth is, I think it's very unlikely that an indie is going to hit the game of the year over some of the AAA titles. Now, to be fair, last year,
Yeah, I was going to say It Takes Two
was the one who won. So I know that in the wake of that I'm eating crow a little bit, but I'm just saying like I don't know. I don't know how I could make the list better, to be fair. So I don't, again, like I've always said, I don't like to complain where I can't make it better, but I do think it's a unique list. I fully agree with Chance about the narrative thing and with Elden Ring. And even they have asked people, like they said, well, yeah, the whole point is that you get to kind of make it the story that you want. And I'm like, that's fine, but then that shouldn't be the best narrative. You see what I'm saying? The other thing I would say is the one that I thought was really cool is if you go to the indie section, those are some straight bangers. Now I don't know what Neon Wyatt is, but the rest of them are
I heard
all
great things. People, okay, that's one
like
people
hardcore.
Neon White, that should have been a game of the year contender. That took over, dude. I remember so many people talking about that on PC. So yeah, Tunic, Stray, Sifu. Well, we'll see about that. But Tunic would be my vote there. So here's one thing I will say, and let's move into the main topic I wanted to talk about. Where's Halo Infinite? Halo Infinite doesn't deserve a nomination somewhere. When that game came out,
ongoing game and the community support, it's not on either one of those.
To be fair, there are complaints about the ongoing support of that game, but I will say best community support. I feel like even though 343 hasn't delivered what everyone wants, they are there. They are active. They are transparent with the community. So I appreciate that. But Halo Infinite could have been nominated for some things in there as well. I don't. That's my biggest complaint about these awards, and that's what I said to Ainsley and the guys. Why aren't these awards hosted in January? And he said right away, it's because advertising and there's a bigger viewership around the holidays in between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah,
I kind of get that, but if we're truly here to celebrate video games, just do the calendar year from January to December. If your game comes out, you can be a nominee. You hold the awards at the end of January or even early February or something. Celebrate the industry how you're supposed to by celebrating the best games of that year. Just do it in late January. I don't think, as much as Jeff thinks we're going to get mainstream viewers, I don't think it makes a difference if you're watching it in December 9th or January 23rd or something like that. I don't know. That's
my mom's never going to watch it, like, for example, and the timing isn't going to matter. I think, honestly, the most beautiful time for it would be the week between the conference championship games and the Super Bowl.
Okay, yeah, during that the bye, before the Super
when
Bowl,
the
not bad.
Pro Bowl happens.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a bad idea. So let's move into the only awards that really matter, gentlemen. The second annual Xbox Record This Awards, and I wanted to ask you, and I wrote these questions down here. First, I'll very quickly, Jose, can you design awards for whatever categories we select? Could you design actual like an award, like a
We're talking like or 3-dimensional or digital?
A digital, so we can be like, this person won best indie, and it's its own unique looking like trophy.
And we're gonna
Is that what people?
It to them?
Yes, we'll tweet at them. But I mean, like like kind of like what is it? What's an Oscar? What would you call that? Is that a trophy?
It's an award. Like it's the correct term is an award. Statuette.
Could you design some digital NFT statuettes that we can give away to our winners, Jose? Would that be something you'd be interested in doing?
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to do that.
Okay. And then,
I like the idea.
yeah. So that
No, I'm
ties
in.
into
I have the idea. We're in. We'll do it. Dan will get in their DMs right away. He's that guy.
Well, and then Chance, you can create like you did last year, what am I thumbnails of or pictures we'll post online of like the different nominees for each category. So I wanted to say, what should our categories be? Obviously, we'll have our 2022 Game of the Year. I was thinking best indie game. And then I was also thinking the third one could be best game we played this year that didn't necessarily come out in 2021. Just any games that we played. And then maybe a fourth category, best of, like I heard this Joseph say, the other games. So this could be your God of War if you think it's really good, non-Xbox exclusive. Maybe that. I don't know. So anybody have any thoughts, or what else would you guys like to do?
We could have the Herm Award for
You play to win the game.
just what was the most fun.
Okay, most fun game.
Because there's a difference between probably the best game and the most fun.
The most fun award. I like that. All right, Jose, put these down in the notes. Somebody put these down. Most fun. Whoever's my assistant to the co-host, start writing this down. Most fun award.
Assistant to the assistant right now.
Okay, Bubble Boy. Most fun game of the year. Best game we played this year. The rest of the best award. I don't want to steal
best of the rest
directly from Joseph, but it is a good category.
I like indie. If we're talking about things that have not come out this year, I like it called the Good Old Days Award. Just game we play to have fun. Doesn't matter if it came this year or not.
Let's do it. The Good Old Days Award, just whatever we played this year. Any other? Do we want to do best direction, best art, best performance? I don't know if that really is something we want to do.
I think this is just me. I think we should go snack of the year. Totally best thing to eat while you're playing video games.
No, Jose, let's keep it gaming related for this.
This is a podcast celebrating. For those of you who didn't know, XRT is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days.
I'm just saying just one at the end. Best snack of the year. I think it'd be fun. That's just me though. But if we don't, I'm okay.
Best gaming snack of the year. Right, write that down, Bubble Boy. And then, any other Bubble Boy? Any other categories?
I mean, I'm going to do the Chazzies again.
Okay, yeah. Then
that's
what was
a given. We don't have to give
the 5 awards, the 5 random awards from us.
No, I had about 38 and I'm going to have that many again this year. Okay, the Chazzies are happy.
How do we want to name that? And then lastly, are we just going to call it the Chazzies?
Give me a rundown
the Chazzies Awards
and see all of my
at least 5
ramblings.
Okay, so how many per category? 5?
Yeah,
I say we do 5.
Yeah,
5's a good number.
Okay. Jose, any closing thoughts on our awards?
So hold on, I have.
By the way, we're doing this January to December, guys. How everyone should be doing this. We will have this show either in January. I think we were into February last year because we had to play some. Because I want to play High and Life. That doesn't come out to the year. Calypso Protocol comes out way towards next couple weeks. So yeah, we still have games to play. Go ahead, Bubble Boy.
So we have best game, most fun, best indie, best good old days, best gaming snack. What did I miss?
I like best story. I think that's an important part of games, but I'm okay if we don't. You're asking for other ideas. I think that's a good one.
I like where we had it. What was it?
I like best story. I think if we're gonna do best story, we should also
it was best of the rest.
Best story and best art.
Best of the rest was the other one though.
Best non-Xbox exclusive. I don't know how we're gonna name that because, okay, so I think it should be best Xbox game of the year, specifically for 2022. Then best game we played this year, maybe that can be the best of the rest, or the Good Old Days Award, because Chance can nominate God of War because I'm not going to be playing Ragnarok anytime soon.
Well, no, but that game came out this year, so that would be best of the rest.
No. Yeah, but I'm saying, can we combine the best of the rest just into best games we played, the good old days, and then replace best of the rest with best story or best art direction?
I'm okay with that. I like art direction too. That's a good one because I like the unique styles of games for sure.
Should we have best story and best art direction?
I think if you're going to do one, you should do the other. Yeah.
Okay, write those down. Combine. I say best of the rest would just be just the good old days awards. Yeah, because you can include your PlayStation games in that. or a non-Xbox exclusive. But for the best Xbox game of the year, that has to be playable on Xbox, because otherwise we'll have God of War and stuff like that.
One more. What about a Nerdfest award? Like the game you play with friends. You don't play by yourself or after you play with friends. Is that a good thing or no?
Sure. The Nerdfest award. So that's kind of like best multiplayer.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, Dizzle. I like it. Eight awards. That's a good list.
So basically, everyone listening, don't worry about the Game Awards. It's caca. Stay tuned. We'll have more to share on the second annual XRT Awards.
If you have thoughts about what the award should look like or some ideas, feel free to send me a shout out, DM, YouTube comment. Open for ideas.
I already have an idea. Let's share it.
Okay, great.
Great. Let's jump into what have we been playing and or watching. I will go first since I'm already talking. Been watching Mad Men. Love it. Wish I was born in the 60s, even though Jose says we would not survive in the 60s, but
me and him.
Minorities.
Chance would have been 5.
There's something else I've been watching, but I spaced it. But let's talk about what I've been playing. So guys, Chance inspired me. I've been playing a little bit of PS5, and I've been playing God of War 2018.
Oh.
And I've been going back to try and get the platinum. I remember why I stopped playing this game. It's just, with these Sony games, you just can't just play them. There's like 350 collectibles, and I'm at like 60, and I'm like, do I really want to go and get all these things to the platinum? The fast travel is atrocious. You like go into a warp, and then you have to walk around in circles and hear Mimir talk to you about some caca, and then a warp will open, and then you get to a place, and then from there, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. And I'm just really having trouble doing this, and I'm remembering why I just didn't immediately want to get the platinum. It's just a slog, and that's what I'm hearing about some points in Ragnarok. I'm gonna pass on Ragnarok. I can already tell you, boy, enjoy it. I'm gonna try to get this platinum. So I stopped playing that boring game, and I jumped into Perils of Baking on PS5. Remember, I mentioned another indie game called Super Perils of Baking. So Super Perils of Baking, like I said, is that Super Nintendo or Super Mario World inspired platformer. Excellent game. Highly recommend it. It's going to be on one of my XRT awards. Perils of Baking was the original one. Guys, go look at the footage of this. This game was rough. And so there's a reason they remade it into Super. It looks like a Nintendo game, but I still had a blast playing it. I played it for like 4 hours, got the platinum, and I loved playing that 4 hours. So that's what I was doing on my PS5 the other day. Wasn't playing much God of War, wasn't playing much Ragnarok. I was playing Perils of Baking. So shout out. I still recommend Super Perils of Baking. And then the other games I've been playing Halo co-op, been having a blast with Bacon as well, chugging away at that, getting those random achievos. But gentlemen, you both mentioned it. You haven't played it yet. I have played Somerville. I'm about halfway through it.
Thoughts?
Thoughts are it's definitely worth your time on Game Pass very quickly. It is worth it. And nice thing is this is going to be like a 6-hour game at most. Okay. You can probably do it in 2 sittings. And achievements are very simple, like Inside or Limbo. You just have to find stuff. But I'm intrigued. At first, I didn't really like it that much. It's not a platformer. This is a puzzle game. Basically, this is remember Out of This World, Jose or Chance? Do you guys remember that game?
Yep.
Think of that kind of sci-fi setting where you're walking around, but no shooting. The mechanics are you either light things or solidify things, or liquefy or solidify. That's basically it. And it's definitely more puzzle than it is Limbo Inside platformer, which is kind of a bummer because Inside and Limbo are much more fun to play. But this game's story has drawn me in. Again, it's completely visual. There's no dialogue. And there's a moment like right at the beginning, like it took me a while to figure out what to do in the beginning. I was like, what am I supposed to do? But then this moment hits and you're like, what is going on? And you're just on there for a ride. So I will say, I definitely think it's worth your time and money. I don't want to go into many spoilers, but how I would describe it, think Out of This World meets War of the World from the people who made Inside and Limbo, and I do think it is worth your time on Game Pass. Would I have paid $20-$30 for this? Probably not. I probably wouldn't have enjoyed that purchase, but thank God it's on Game Pass. So I do recommend Somerville to both of you. Jose, what have you been playing?
So honestly, very little. So I last weekend got a little bit into Halo with Alan and Dan, which was cool. Got to play a little bit of the new season update, and it's fun. You know, I don't think it's anything honestly groundbreaking, like at least the stuff we've seen yet. But it's cool to have the new battle pass.
Co-op is, but you're right. Multiplayer, it's more
multiplayer, but it's fun. I mean,
new mode.
do,
We did play the new mode with the camo, right? Jose,
yeah, we played the new map with the one team has the active camo, the other one has unlimited, like what are they called? Homing.
The motion radar.
Motion sensor. Thank you. And it was fun. I mean, we dominated the 2 rounds we played that. So that was cool to do. I'm having a good time. I'm excited to play a lot of that with some of the guys. I want to play the new big team map. I haven't played that yet. So it was good. And then other than that, just Battlefield, which I'm super glad I bought Battlefield. Like after the year of just kind of pooping on it and saying it was not great, it's been a lot of fun, man. And so I'm looking forward to continuing that trend once they drop season 3. I'll be honest, this is the first time I thought about maybe buying the season 2 battle pass just to get all that stuff, because I'm at like level like 60 or something just to get all the gear and unlocks. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'll wait for season 3, but it's drawn me in, man. I'm happy to see that they're doing stuff. I've been watching some of the trailers and stuff for season 3. They were working some of the maps, like Breakaway with like the oil rig. They're bringing the oil rig like way closer to land, which I think is a huge win, which is cool. So overall, really cool. This week, during the week, I just haven't had a lot of time to play because I got some deadlines at work I got to get it through. I'm going to try to burn through all that tonight so that over Thanksgiving I can just chill and do that. And then additionally, Victoria and I have been watching, we finished Ink Master season 14. I talked about that last week. Again, really great show. If you are into art at all, if you have tattoos or into tattoos, it's a super rad show. Some of the stuff, like what these people can do on human skin, unbelievable to me. And just a fun show overall. Pro tip though, don't watch it with your kids around, because now that it's on Paramount Plus, there are no filters and there's a lot of cussing, like impressive amount of cussing. So just a heads up there. But other than that, man, just excited for Thanksgiving. And of course, I want to get through Somerville right away because December 2nd's coming. Callisto Protocol. I cannot wait. We're so close at this point.
You'll like it, Jose. You'll really enjoy it. And it's not, you'll beat it before easily. It's not a long game.
Also one other thing. I thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't tell you guys. I bought Cult of the Lamb. I have not fired it up yet, but there was a sale.
Interested to hear, yeah.
I got it for like $17, and I was like, I got to take
heard
it.
Good
so
things.
I picked up, heard great things. So I think that's a Christmas break one for me when I need a little bit of a break from Callisto. Maybe if it's a little too intense, something that's a little bit lighter. But I'm excited to get into that too.
Bubble Boy, what about you? Tell us more about your God of War adventure. Are you still high on life about that, or have you hit the spot where everyone's like, "Ooh, this needed to end quicker"?
I'm still thoroughly enjoying it. I put in the nerd chat, I switched from the graphical fidelity to the performance mode. And the best way I can describe that is the same way what's his name? The comedian he's like, yeah, it's like the first time you had melty cheese after having regular cheese. You're like, oh, cheese doesn't get better than that. And then you have melty cheese and you're like, oh, I can always have it like this. This is incredible. That performance mode is just so hard to turn off after you've watched it for a couple of minutes. It is smooth as butter. I played one of the more imaginative and just really cool levels and bosses in the last week, which was, I won't spoil anything about it because I had no idea it was coming. It was really, really cool. All that being said, you do so much nonsense, and it's so weird to hear Kyle, Mr. K-Step, our buddy over on the trophy room, say, well, I love this game because it respects my time, and it just doesn't.
Even Joseph has said that, and like a bunch of people love it. They were both like,
I've
really,
spent
Kyle?
more time like shimmying through rocks or climbing up walls that are clearly, despite what they say, because they've gone on record to be like, no, that's not what that is. Clearly loading screens.
I don't think it is, Chance. I think it's there to just make the game longer to get more dialogue or and context.
Okay, and it's too much. I literally feel like that's all I'm doing. And I had said, remember when where the triggers, where they do the stop on the triggers. That's kind of cool how you do that. I did it twice in the first 15 minutes. Haven't done it again since. It's just literally just shimmying through or crawling under. The dialogue is really well done. I feel like this is almost like we're gonna find out 20 years from now that Sony Santa Monica was a Jose. What's it called when an author does a different name, pseudonym, right? That Sony
Or a pen name.
yeah. That Sony Santa Monica is just a pseudonym or a pen name for Kojima, because he's making the movie he always wanted to. If that's what this is, it's extremely well done. The game is great. I'm enjoying it. But I'm sitting there. I'm like, I want to play. Stop. I'm tired of walking. I'm so tired of walking. I have this guy who has one of the most incredible combat feels to it. It's iconic. The Chains of Olympus, which used to be so amazing, are like just overshadowed completely by how cool the axe is and stuff. And I don't get to use any of it. And there's so much that you can not customize, but there's so many different move sets that you can enable and disable and all these different armors and stuff. I'm like, great, but why? It doesn't matter. I'm just walking and then
Chance,
walking.
and I've heard that from you. I've heard that from other people. Like Ainsley was saying the exact same things. Hogue Law was saying that. It's like that's my biggest problem with PlayStation IPs. Yes, they're incredibly well made. I cannot deny it. They look fantastic. They run amazingly. They have engaging stories and production value. But I want to play the game. Just let me play, please. That was my biggest
You
problem.
play to win the game.
That was my biggest problem with Ghost of Tsushima. That's exactly how I felt, Chances. There's
It's
so much cool stuff.
way worse
I know,
than
and I
this.
just want to play. Like the fact that I couldn't just skip some small cutscenes. I want to play your games, Sony. Let us play
Yeah.
them, not just watch. And there's a fine line, and I think that Sony is particularly this and Last of Us and even Uncharted. I realized when I was replaying it, I was like, there's a
Yeah.
lot of times where I'm so sick of going through the thin parts in the walls or both lifting up a door and stuff like that. It's like, can we please just let me play the game? And so again, from what I've heard from you and what I've heard from other people, I know I'm not going to play Ragnarok. I think I'm just going to watch the cool stuff. And I hear the story kind of is okay and pays off at the end. And
It's
some of it,
really, yeah, and that part of it's good, and some of the really cinematic cutscenes are amazing still.
Yeah.
They're so really well done, and like I said, that one level that I'm talking about is incredible, and I'd be happy if it was more than that. It's just like when you finally there's those two sides of the game, right? There's the gameplay, and then there's
Elden Ring
maybe
gameplay,
three. Right, but so there's the
no
gameplay,
story.
there's all the interactive, what am I thinking of, like pause screen menus and stuff, and then the cutscenes. And I feel like what this game has so much of doesn't fit into any of those categories, which is like it's not really gameplay, but it's not really cutscene either, because you're literally just walking. I don't understand
What
it.
is that saying where you're like good at everything but master of not? What am I trying to say?
Jack of all trades,
Trades
master
master
of
of all.
none.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how you could describe God of War, huh?
But no, well, I don't know.
Yeah, it's doing a lot
I
of
don't
great things,
know.
but it's not a great game. I will say this is why the one Sony IP, or not IP, it's not even their IP, but the one Sony exclusive that I'm realizing more and more why I enjoyed it probably the most now, thinking back, was Spider-Man. Because that
Right.
game
Spider-Man's dope, bud.
lets you play. You are
So
playing, you are moving, and the cutscenes are good but brief, except for the Mary Jane parts and the Miles parts. And whenever you played,
and
that was terrible. So
it's so funny that you say that, because I literally just last night happened to come across this Miles Morales review, and I was like, I never actually watched any of those from back in the day. And having just sat the controller down from God of War, I saw that and I was like, Oh, I got so jazzed. I was like,
Yeah.
I kind of want to go
That's
fire
what I
up
was thinking.
Miles
I was like,
Morales
should I get
instead.
Miles?
Just
Eventually down
watching
the
him
road.
fling around the
You play,
city
and
how
that's
fun
where,
that
again,
is, and
Insomniac, man, doesn't miss. What a great purchase by Sony. Got to give them credit for that. So yeah, Chance, I'm with you. Like I'm trying to do this God of War Platinum, but every time I play it, I'm like, oh gosh, I got to open another door or punch a chest. But yeah, I think I'm gonna pass on it. But much respect for all those people who love it, like Kyle, especially. I know he's in love with it. Like where he's like, oh, I love the part where you're on the yak in the forest or wherever that boring part was. And I was like, oh God, I can't do those anymore, Chance. I just can't do it.
and
So
that was one too where, and I guess not, you didn't spoil
yeah,
anything, but
I didn't say anything yet,
spoiler
but I know
alert,
that
like
part.
you're literally losing the forest through the trees.
Can someone explain that to
It's
me? Because everyone's been saying that.
the
I don't get this.
saying.
This is that a metaphor?
I've said that a bunch of times.
I know you've
It's
heard.
like it's when you're so overwhelmed by the idea that you're just looking at trees constantly that you forget you're in a forest. Even though it's obvious you're in the forest because you're surrounded by trees,
Yeah.
but like it's just tree, 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 tree. It's a little vague, but I don't know. That's exactly what it is because and the levels are beautiful, but it's like there's just too much going on in them that you can't ever look at anything, and so you end up looking at nothing.
Yeah. Again, I'm so happy for PlayStation fans who are huge God of War fans, and I hope they're enjoying it. I just feel like this is one I'm going to pass, and I'm getting jacked to play for some Miles Morales down the road. So Chipotle Bear.
You know what game lets you play? Gotham Knights. Just wanted you to know that.
I know, and trust me, I know. I thought about that too. Maybe I'm gonna buy that maybe I should buy that
because there are when they have to switch, you just get a loading screen. It lasts 1.5 seconds to black, and then you're in a new place and you're good to go.
I am tempted by Gotham Knights. I'm not gonna. You're right. Maybe I should do that next, and especially. You're right. Maybe I should do that in respect to Kevin Conroy. You're absolutely right, Jose.
And then random PSA, in true APS fashion, we are now on a 2-hour delay after further
DPS and Cherry
monitoring.
Creek are also, and Dugco are on a 2-hour delay. Not
That's
Jeffco.
That's what we do.
Not Jeffco.
We just follow everybody else. Yeah. So one more update. We'll end the PlayStation talk, Chance. Guys, I'm gonna get the scuff version of the controller. Should I stick with the same design, or do you think I should go for the black one?
Black one.
Chance?
Yeah, black is always better.
Really? See, I kind of want to go with the white because the PlayStation is white. Because I don't know. Like, am I really going to upgrade this even if they do release a PS5 Pro? And is it going to be matte black?
Based on how much you talk about how you hate it, I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think so. No, but I have one other thing to say about the games I've been playing. I still end
Power Wash
every
Simulator
night on my backbone playing Power Wash Simulator, and it's nothing but satisfying.
I always think I'm like, man, Cora's up late playing Power Wash. No, it's Bubble Boy still playing. Every time I'm like, that can't be him playing Power Wash Simulator.
It is the perfect way to put me to bed every night. I've been sleeping like a baby. I don't lay and toss and turn before going to bed. Yeah, I check off a couple of boxes. I watch my whoosh, 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 just like that. And ding, ding,
very nice.
And just feel good. Because I don't know if you remember this, but
you play to win the game.
And as much as I'm an achievement sucker, I have been finishing levels that I don't have to because there's no achievements attached to them whatsoever. And I'm just like, I want to finish this.
Oh, you're playing this game because it's fun? Kind of like why people should be playing Halo and not complain about it. Guys, let's end.
Hold on. Did Power Wash Simulator come out in 2022? Or was
it can still be on your best The Good Old Days award. Don't forget.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Actually, did it come out this year? It might have come out this year. That
think
might be on your
this
indie
year.
list. Yeah, I think it was this year. So never mind. There we go. Guys, let's close the show like we always do with the best food we had this week. I'll go first very quickly, you guys. Tonight we were supposed to have our first official swim lessons at Jose, whatever it's called, Swimland, Swimville. I don't remember.
Swim Labs. Swimland.
They of course canceled due to snow and inclement weather and whatnot. But so I was rushing home and I'm like, I got to get something fast. Got to get these kids fed very quickly. Obviously, I went to Little Caesars, got the other Call of Duty pack. Again, I don't even have the game. Again, this double XP means nothing to me. But man, I got stuffed crust with bacon, you guys. It was so good. Little Caesars coming through in the clutch. I got to shout them out again. It was delicious. Kids also devoured it. Shout out to Little Caesars. That was the best food I had this week. Bubble Boy, what about you?
Yeah, sorry. Excuse me. I have one I'm very excited to talk about, and because Daniel, you'll get to hopefully try it out here soon. So it was Shannon and I have been over at the ESC4, which is right there by Central, right over in your neck of the woods, Daniel. And so she texted Sandra the other day and was like, "Where do we
Yeah,
need
she
to
told
go to
me
lunch?"
that you guys were over there, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I was never going to seat you. We're there, but we're not there. Santos Cafe and Grill, and it was phenomenal. It's in a little strip mall right off of 11th.
Is this another Colombian place or something?
No, it is. So I'm going to read this to you, and then you'll be like, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Santos Cafe and Grill is a family-owned restaurant that specializes in authentic Mexican food. Established in 2005, we have been perfecting our burritos, tacos, and tamales. We have created a strong relationship with our community, period. Then they have, hit enter, premium meats. That's all it says. I know. And I was just like, wow, that sentence isn't even a sentence. But they were true. It was delicious. The guy was like, he's like, you need to eat all that. And I was like, there's no way. I got this burrito that was this big. It was just phenomenal. They had steak on top of the burrito, steak inside the burrito. It was amazing. I love you can't beat some of that, like, family owned, like, they make it with love. Again, in a strip mall is usually a good thing too. That makes it a little more authentic to me all the time. So huge shout out. They're probably going to be sponsors on the show here soon.
Absolutely.
I assume huge fans of the show, and Daniel, it's over in your hood, so you got to check it out.
I will definitely check it out. Oh, I forgot to say, I do need to say this as well. Best food I had this week. I had a little team meeting after our family liaison meeting. Oh, I need to tell you guys about that whole ordeal afterwards. Went to Red Robin. Hadn't been to Red Robin in a while. Got a Royal Red Robin. Devoured it. Oh my gosh, so freaking good. And also, shout out to
doesn't
Trish.
love eggs though.
He's
Chance
an
doesn't like
idiot.
eggs.
So good. It was phenomenal, you guys. And then also shout out to Trish. She got one of those pepperoni pizzas that I guess is newer.
Donato's, right?
Dude, what? No.
Just nothing but pepperoni,
Dude,
right?
just doused in pepperonis. Like, incredible. Like, and it was massive too. I was like, holy crap, they really give you a lot of pepperoni on that bad boy. So shout out to Red Robin. Jose, best food for you.
So similar. Well, I have a little bit of a good, bad, and well, not ugly, but good and bad and better. We went to Red Robin literally last night. Same thing. We went. I tried to like the Whiskey River barbecue burger, sir. That's my go-to. Delightful. I love the Royal too. I like a good egg on my burger too, but I hadn't had the whiskey burger in a long time. Got that. Other best thing, the Chick-fil-A by us finally opened back up. And I don't go that often, but my kids love Chick-fil-A. I'll be very honest, right? And so
why was it closed?
They were renovating it. They totally renovated it so that you could, like, all the workers outside have like a cover over them and heaters, because, man, I'll be honest, like, they're like high school kids, and there were many times in the winter and stuff where it was like they should have been out there, and they were still out there getting me my Chick-fil-A sauce, doing a great job. And so literally tonight, my kids' elementary school had like a fundraiser in the ice and snow. And so we traversed across town to go to Chick-fil-A. I got me double sandwich standard with fries and a drink. I was starving today. It was absolutely delightful. Love a good Chick-fil-A. My unfortunate story is a Little Caesars story, because I'm usually a big proponent of the Little Caesars with Dan. About 2 weeks ago, I forgot to mention this to you guys. I went to get a lunch special, because it was just every once in a while I like to get that. It's a delightful thing. It was the worst pizza I've ever had. It was like not finished cooked. Like, it was almost doughy still. And it was like, unfortunately, like, I picked it up and brought it back to like school, and I was eating it. I couldn't leave to go back and complain about it. But I was like, really? But I threw it away. I didn't even finish the pizza. Do you know how much that hurt my heart to do, man? But it was all dough.
Wow.
So just a pro tip, if you're going to do that, you might check it out. Just make sure it's good before you leave.
Sorry to
all
hear
those
that.
people out there. I know. And I'm not, it was one time.
It happens.
I've done it for
Everywhere
30 plus years
yeah.
at this point. They can have errors, but I was
everybody
real bummed.
makes mistakes. Yeah, I agree. Mine was delicious. So shout out to Little Caesars. Gentlemen, this has been Xbox Record. This episode 81. My name is Daddy D Wally. You can follow me at Daddy D Wally across all social media. You can follow the show at Xbox Record This on all social media as well. Chipotle Bear, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Chipotle Bear. You can find me on Twitter at Chipotle_Bear. Always feel free to hit me up. And again, if you have any design ideas for the XRT Awards, please let me know. I know Dan has his, but always love that inspiration. Love hearing from the fans. And again, vindicate me, people. I know I'm not the only one that likes pumpkin pie out there. Please make sure that you can tell these fools that they're fools. Thank you.
And Bubble Boy, where can people find you?
At 7:30 sharp at Gateway High School, because I will be on time. I am an expendable employee who needs to be there on time. On time. I'll be there at 7:30 on time.
Serious question. Do you think Burrito Express will be open on a 2-hour delay? Because I might stop there on the way to work tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, they're always
I
open.
mean, yeah, they don't close, do they?
As always, essential workers, see you online.
See you online.
See you online.
See you online.
But why do they put a guarantee on the box then?
Because they know all they sold you was a guaranteed piece of shit. That's all it is, isn't it? Hey, if you want me to take a dump in a box and mark it guaranteed, I will. I got spare time. But for now, for your customer's sake, for your daughter's sake, you might want to think about buying a quality product from me.
Okay, I'll buy from you.
Oh, that's... What?
Xbox Record This is a podcast created by Daniel Walenzik. You can follow him at Daddy Diwali on all social media. The assistant to the co-host is Jose Martinez, and you can follow him at Chipotle_Bear on Twitter. The assistant to the co-host is Chance Siegel, and you can follow him at BubbleBoyN7. You can follow the show at Xbox Record This on all social media. If you'd like to find out more about the show, visit xboxrecordthis.com.